Hey everybody, I am here with Sherry Alu Campagna. She is a candidate for U.S. Congress District 2, which includes Maui County and everywhere in Hawaii except for urban Honolulu. We're gonna walk story. Sherry, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me here.
My first question, Sherry, is what is your background? What is your connection to Hawaii, and why do you want to be involved in politics?
Sure. So I'm an environmental scientist and a small business owner and a foster mom, and I'm a commissioner on the Hawaii State Commission on the Status of Women. And I was the former leader of Women's March, the state chair actually. And let's see, I think I want to be involved in politics now because I think there's a very real need for us here in Hawaii to revitalize the seat in the House of Representatives and make sure that the power of the seat is used for the good of local issues and for our local people.
So the person that you are running against is Tulsi Gabbard, and she is one of the most popular politicians in Hawaii.
Yes.
Why do you think it's time for a change in representation? Why do you think you're the right person for that job?
So I'm challenging Congresswoman Gabbard for this position because I think that it isn't. So I think a lot of us forget really what's going on with a U.S. House Representative seat. The House Representative in Congress is supposed to truly represent the needs and the day-to-day issues of her House. And I would say 80 to 90% of her focus should be on the issues here at home instead of international issues. That's more along the lines of what a senator would do, or maybe the Secretary of State. And then when it comes to the differences between Congresswoman Gabbard and myself, there are many. For me, I think it would start way back in the beginning of her career with Bill 54. That was the first bill on the books here in the state of Hawaii that criminalized homelessness. And Congresswoman Gabbard authored that bill. And from there it goes on. There are other things, supporting the NDAA, which is the National Defense Appropriations Act. She voted against that. I would have voted for that. That bill sustains our Department of Education. It would have given an increase to our veterans' pensions. There are many things there that help Hawaii economically that I support. And then I think most recently, last month, Congresswoman Gabbard proposed militarizing and weaponizing the Pacific Missile Research Facility on Kauai. You know, my dad's family is from Kauai, and I love that place. I love the way it feels, and I love the life that people enjoy there. And I know that militarizing PMRF would change that landscape and the environment forever.
So you mentioned representation, and
Yes.
for so many people in Hawaii, Washington D.C. is just so far away. The issues are so complex. You're dealing with such abstract numbers and figures. What are some of your ideas to make the people of Hawaii feel like they have a say in making the nation and the world a better place?
So actually that speaks to my role in activism here. That is something that has been my charge, my call to arms, as long as I've been back home. So, born in Honolulu, but raised around the world with a dad who worked for the Department of Defense. And I finally was able to come home about 11 years ago and start my business and raise my family. And it was when I came back home that I realized that we here in Hawaii, we have needs, and we need to see those met from a position in DC. We have only 4 members of Congress. We're separated from the United States by this vast ocean, by a time change, and we have this very small body of representatives that goes there to help us. We need to make sure that we have strong voices on the Hill, people that will work together, a team of 4 that will work together to make sure that we have the programming and the funding and the representation that we deserve in Washington, D.C.
Okay. So for people that see all this injustice that's happening with the Trump administration, they're seeing, families separated, they're seeing, unions being broken up.
That Janus ruling was devastating to me yesterday, yes.
Yeah, so what is your advice to these people that see so much injustice in the world and maybe feel helpless or hopeless?
I don't think people should stop. Now is not the time to stop. Now is actually the time to keep going. The very first thing that folks can do is to is to keep hope alive.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Second, vote. It is so important. It's crucial that we vote, that we turn Congress blue again. We're looking at a long haul to get things back to where they were. Trump and his administration have undone so much with the National Science Foundation, with the Environmental Protection Agency, with HUD. It's really unconscionable what's happening to our country. It's becoming a country whose future we need to fix. And yeah, voting is the very first and best thing that everyone can do. Second, if you're able to just get involved, find out how to keep hope alive in your community and then for the nation.
And you were telling me before this about how you're crisscrossing Hawaii. You're so busy lately, and we're coming up at Maui Time on our Best of Maui issue. And so here's a fun question:
Okay.
What are some of your favorite things about Maui?
Oh my goodness, there are so many wonderful things about Maui. My favorite thing is just the way it feels. My mom's family is from Pu'unene. My great-grandpa Yamaguchi came here to be a teacher at the plantation and brought over great-grandma Yamaguchi as his picture bride.
Right.
And so when I come home to Maui, even though I never lived here, there's a sense when I land that I'm coming back to my motherland. And so for me, that's the very best thing.
Since you're talking about your grandfather being a teacher.
Yes,
Oh.
and he was interned for being a teacher.
Oh, really?
Japanese and an educator, which makes him, of course, dangerous.
Yeah.
And so he was interned, and not here in Hawaii. They sent him all the way to California, and great-grandma had to raise those 5 kids by herself.
Can you talk a little bit about cost of living
Yes.
and teachers?
Okay, so did you know that Hawaii's teachers are the lowest paid teachers in the country when adjusted for cost of living? And this year, this is very important. This year, Hawaii voters will have a chance to vote for what is called the Constitutional Amendment, which will guarantee, finally, a dedicated funding stream for teachers here in our state. And I really hope everybody votes yes on the Con-Am.
All right. Thank you, Sherry. We're here at the banyan tree. That means it's time to wrap up and say goodbye. I really want to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for everything. It's been a pleasure.
And don't forget to vote in our primary August 11th and general election